You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are coming to you from the Sun Prairie Community Radio Studios, underwritten by Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, business coach at Droughton Customers Business Coaching and author of the Bold Business Book. Today, we are welcoming / preparing to learn from Gary Molz, co-owner of Easy Office Products. Gary, how are you feeling today?
I'm well, James. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. So you own or are part owner of Easy Office Products?
My wife, Rose, and I own the company, and I work for Rose. Rose is the president of the company.
Nice. That's what everybody seems to say, right? To work for the wife.
Well, people remind me that I work for her both at home and the office.
Sure. That's awesome. So how long have you guys been around?
We started Easy Office Products in January 1st of 2006.
Nice. And how did you guys end up in the office supply business?
It's a long story, James. I'm glad we have some time.
We got some time.
All right.
All right.
So I actually started when I was a kid, grew up in Philadelphia, and my father, when I was 13 years old, started an office furniture company in our garage in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yep. He worked for a company called Metal Stand in Philadelphia.
Okay.
He started working there after he got out of the service. He was in the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
Worked there for 23 years.
Wow.
He was a factory worker. He was a blue-collar worker in the factory.
Okay.
Became a hostile work environment. People were carrying knives and stuff. And
You're kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Only in Philadelphia?
Only in Philadelphia. So in his mid-40s, he left.
Sure.
And he went to work for my uncle, who was a printer at the time. And he worked there for a couple of years. He didn't really enjoy it, but people would call him up, and my father's name was Bert, and they said, "Hey, Bert, can you get me a desk or a file?"
Yeah.
And he decides that he's going to start an office furniture company.
All right.
No education, no background, never worked in an office, never ran a business.
Wow.
So I think his original investment was about $5,000.
Okay.
Starts an office furniture company, and I have two older sisters and a younger brother.
Okay.
So mid-40s, no education, no background, starts an office furniture company. I was 13 years old in 1976.
Holy cow. All right.
And I was his first employee.
Ha! Nice.
So he would come pick me up from school, and I would help him deliver.
Oh, wow.
And at an early age, I saw as an opportunity. I
Yeah.
grew up in a very humble Philadelphia, in the city environment. Never knew anyone who lived in a single home. We only thought rich people lived in single houses.
Right.
And I dedicated myself. So when my peers in my teenage years were out having a good time,
Yeah.
I was working.
Oh, wow.
So we would work every Saturday. I still remember to this day putting our first bookcase together with my father.
Really?
It's amazing. We were involved in the family business center, both on the East Coast and here. And it's interesting to see my peers who worked in a family business. And I always say I was generation 1.5.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really second generation because I was there at day one.
Sure.
But I didn't have any skin in the game because I was a kid.
Right.
But we grew that company, and we ultimately became the largest office furniture and supply company in Philadelphia. Independently owned. Yep.
Was it always metal furniture, or did you branch out?
That was the name of the company he worked for.
Gotcha.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we started as I was talking with some of our staff just last week. 2 and 4 drawer file cabinets were what we stocked, and now no one buys a file cabinet hardly.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So he started in our garage in Philadelphia, and then a couple of years later, we moved to New Jersey.
Okay.
Like most cities, they scare out the middle class.
Sure.
And from a tax standpoint, it was ridiculous to work. So if you had money in Philadelphia and you wanted to escape, you went to the western suburbs. And if you didn't have money, you went to New Jersey.
Oh, well, all right.
We didn't have any money.
Sure.
So I think I moved to New Jersey when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
And was really dedicated. I would work, go to school and work 40 hours a week after school.
So did your uncle move the business as well?
He was in New Jersey to start with.
Gotcha.
So we had a little warehouse we rented from him.
Gotcha.
Very successful guy. And then, we started on our own, and I was just, helping my father do what he needed to do.
Nice. So did your father get into the office equipment or office
supplies,
office furniture, office supplies?
So we started in '76, and for 2 years we just sold office furniture. And my father, who was a brilliant business person, untrained, and probably the best mentor I would ever have.
Nice.
He decided that we should get into office supplies because the office supply guys were taking his one share one file cabinet business
sure.
because
Okay.
on the office supply business, you're in the customer's location on a regular basis.
Sure.
Furniture's once every 7 years, and,
All right.
and you're done.
Sure.
So actually, when he started the office supply side, he gave me that to run.
Oh, wow.
So as a kid, we had a garage, and he built a little office, and he'd come home with an order, maybe 2 orders a day.
Sure.
And I would type them up on a typewriter, give a list to my mother to order from a
Sure.
wholesaler. He'd come home with the stuff the next day,
Yeah.
and I would sort it and pack it, and he'd deliver it. So
Holy cow.
in the late 70s, we had 2-day service, which was remarkable back then.
Right? It's probably unheard of. This is before even the Apple IIe.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you're talking
Well before computers.
old school. All right.
Old school. But I was only a kid.
Sure.
So we grew that business. My father's health was never really good, so he retired really early.
Okay.
I ultimately ran the company. And along the way, we were big into office furniture, so we would do casinos in Atlantic City, and we would do
wow.
hospitals. I mean, we would fit out the
Some
whole
big ticket stuff.
We'd do a whole building.
Okay.
And office supplies grew as well. And along the way, I met Rose, who
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
her background is she went to the UW. She's from Wisconsin,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and she graduated with a degree in political science and international relations.
All right.
Went to work for Railvac. And at the time, in the mid-'80s, Railvac was industrial and hardware. That was their 2 channels.
Sure.
And she discovered the office products channel for them. So she started in customer service,
Okay.
went to inside sales, opened the office products channel for them,
All right.
and ultimately became the head of that. I don't know if it's a division or
Sure.
what, that channel. So she would be traveling every day or quite frequently on a plane in Madison on Monday morning and travel to a different city
Oh, wow.
long before I knew her.
Sure.
So that's a job that burns people out.
I bet. Yeah, I can't maintain that forever, right?
No. But she was recruited by the largest wholesaler of office products called United Stationers. They're based in Chicago.
Oh, sure.
And they put her in Dallas, where she ran their southern region for their call centers.
Wow.
So she had multitudes of call centers based in Dallas.
Sure.
And from there, her regional vice president got transferred to the East Coast, and he took his whole team with him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
So everybody moved from Dallas to the East Coast.
Correct.
Sorry about the snow.
Exactly. And where, I don't know if she's ever even been on the East Coast
Oh,
before.
yeah. Yeah, love the East Coast.
Right. I'm not sure if Rose was too much on the East Coast, but she didn't know where she was going.
Sure.
So she had her choice of where to live, either New York or New Jersey, and she just happened to choose New Jersey.
All right.
I was a customer of United Stationers,
Ah.
and I met her at an industry function.
Funny.
And I kind of slowed her career down.
Okay.
She could have ran United Stationers,
Sure.
but at the time, United Stationers had a glass ceiling,
Oh.
so they probably wouldn't have gave her the opportunity,
Interesting. Okay.
in my opinion.
Sure.
Although she was more than qualified.
Sure.
I'm running my family's business. We got together, we got married,
Yeah.
and I kind of slowed her career down.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I was president of my family's business in
Sure.
New Jersey. We'd come back to Madison and visit her family. It's like, what a great place.
Sure.
So I grew up in Philadelphia and lived in New Jersey. And I come
Okay.
to Wisconsin. It's like, wow, this
You
is
can
a whole,
park anywhere.
There's a whole world here.
Sure.
There's no such thing as traffic in Wisconsin.
Yeah, right, right.
But from a business standpoint, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, most of the independently owned office products companies in Wisconsin sold out to Office Depot or Staples.
Oh, gotcha.
They
Okay.
figured they couldn't compete. So
Sure.
when we came out, I started a small branch office in 2002
Okay.
just to test the waters. We had one person, which was
In Madison here.
in Madison.
So you're operating in New Jersey and in Madison.
As of 2002, correct.
Okay. Sure.
Actually, Rose's brother Greg
Yeah.
worked for Corporate Express at the time, and he was looking to get out.
Oh,
So he was our
funny.
first employee.
Sure. All right.
So he started like my father did in the East Coast. He would deliver orders in the morning,
Okay.
get changed, and go out and sell in the afternoon.
Nice. All right.
And then we hired our second person,
Sure.
Dave Ott, who is still with us.
Okay.
And then as we grew that business in 2005, we came out and said maybe we should give this a try full time.
All right.
So after 29 years, president of my family's company, I resigned my position.
Really?
Yep. Came out to Wisconsin, moved from New Jersey to Marshall,
Sure.
Wisconsin. There's more kids in my high school than that live in Marshall, Wisconsin.
That's awesome.
Yep. And we started Easy Office Products.
All right.
So January 1st, 2006, we started Easy Office Products. And I work for Rose. When we started the company, I already had a chance to run a business, and we decided who's going to run it. So Rose is our leader.
Nice. So tell me, did you have any fallout from telling your family, like, hey, I'm moving to Wisconsin?
No, they were
here's the reins.
They were a little surprised that that I wanted to make that move, but they understood.
Okay.
They understood. I had my oldest sister is a nurse, and long story short, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So she actually worked for us at my company in New Jersey.
Okay.
But she had since moved on, and then my second sister is an interior designer, and I have a younger brother. So my sister Donna and Dean ran the business when I left.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I totally washed my hands. Came out, started from scratch.
Did you end up being a client of theirs or vice versa?
No, neither.
Just
they ran their
separate.
business. Yep. Our business here is somewhat different than our business back east.
Okay.
We are more focused on furniture.
Okay.
When we started Easy Office Products, we wanted to be on the consumable side of things.
Gotcha.
We knew what our focus was.
The pens, pencils, paper clips. Yeah,
and more technology products.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But consumables is really what our market is. And Rose and I had an idea that we wanted to change the market. So we weren't just trying to do a Me Too.
Okay.
We were both experienced enough in the office products business to say, we think that we can build a better mousetrap.
Really? Okay.
So that's what we set out.
That's why you're here. That's awesome.
That's why I'm here. And with technology, I could really be anywhere. We picked Madison, but I could be in Fort Worth. But we're glad we picked Madison because there's no better place.
So did you keep a New Jersey office for Easy Office?
No, I
did not.
So our old company was called BF Molz. That was BF Molz Business Products.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when I left, I totally left. Nothing.
Wash away. I'm in Madison now.
I'm in Madison. And,
All right.
Talk to those guys. They would call me for, questions, whatever, but we had no relationship from a business standpoint.
Sure. Interesting. Okay.
So started from scratch on January 1st and went out and built customers.
All right.
I didn't know anyone in Madison. I didn't.
So on day one, you had no book of business.
We had from 2002 to 2005, we built a very, very small book of business.
Okay.
So when I left my family's company, I took that with me.
Okay.
So we invested all the funds to start the business.
Yep.
But we basically, day one, we figured we got to go get some
Let's
customers.
do this.
But most importantly, we were challenging the norm in our industry. So we weren't coming out here just to do the same old thing.
Sure.
We wanted to do things very differently. And Rose running our business has given us a totally different perspective.
Versus yours or versus?
Yes, versus me. It's been a great learning experience.
All right.
If I look at the best mentors I've had in my life, my father was number one, and Rose is number two.
Oh, wow.
We came to this business from different angles.
Sure.
I came from a small business, a startup, one that grew. Rose worked for big corporations. So
Gotcha.
we bring different skill sets to the business. But in addition to that, in 2006, not as much today, but in 2006, probably 85% of our customers were women.
Wow.
And as much as I have tried and continue to try to understand the market, there's no one who understands that better than Rose does.
Sure.
So we first of all have a philosophy that we don't sell anything. We help people buy.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fair.
And we're sincere about that. It's not like a shtick.
Sure.
Because we know that people use our commodity, but our job is to help them be more efficient in doing that.
Sure.
So everything that we do as an organization is driven towards that goal. And then today, we would really consider, we're not really in the office products business.
Sure.
Because I don't need to sell things.
Right.
We're really what we call ourselves as a POP.
Okay.
A provider of productivity.
Gotcha. Okay.
So a smart company, and that's our customers are smart businesses, understand that the cost of their consumables is X, and it's going to be X close to whatever company they buy it from.
Wherever they get it from.
What are the soft dollar costs involved in that? And that's where we excel because there's no one who comes close to the saving our customers soft dollar costs.
So them taking the time to order online with some other big box store or something like that, or actually going to the big box store versus you coming there helping them get what they want and just taking care of an efficiency point of view.
Totally. There's a cost to that. Your employees
Huge.
cost money.
Huge.
So there's and specifically stores are dead. I mean, no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned Office Depot and Office Max. I think they're all bottled up into Staples now, right?
No, Office Max and Office Depot merged, and Staples is different. But
Gotcha. Okay.
Coming over here, I was thinking about my history in the industry when in 1986 there were no superstores.
Right.
And I can remember being in Philadelphia. We used to have a group called the Delaware Valley Stationers Association. There's probably 40 office products companies in Philadelphia.
Really? Okay.
And they were scared to death. Like, how are we going to compete with these guys? But there was not only Staples and Office Depot. There was about 25 different office product superstores.
I can remember a St. Paul Book and Stationery in Eau Claire where I grew up, which was this huge thing, and my dad having his business.
Yep.
And that's where you went to get your ledger sheets and all this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And like, I wonder, like, are they still around or?
Most likely not.
I think they were connected somehow to United Stationers in Chicago.
It was probably they were there wholesale. Mm-hmm. The industry has changed and morphed, and that's why we've been successful, because we've always been able to change and see the change and change before that has happened. We've always challenged ourselves, never been sitting on our hands.
I just think of what it was like even in 2006 with business now versus now. I mean, the advent, the internet 2.0, and just the demographic of the people that you're selling to. I mean, books and all this kind of stuff, it's no longer hard, right? It's all on the computer and stuff like that. So now you gotta.
Well, success is the thing that hurts most businesses because they get comfortable,
right?
And that's something that we've never done, whether by design or we've just always been behind the success curve, I should say.
Sure.
And then in our industry, there was a time when you developed a website and people would say what percentage of your business is online, and from 2006 on, we've been 100%.
Sure, right.
But there's companies out there say, I'm at 30%, and those companies have slowly fallen by the wayside.
Right.
They can't exist.
No, it's tough to compete with something like that because you have so much overhead. Correct. I was just talking to another construction company that was opening up a showroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, the money that you got in this showroom and how many people are coming there. You got to staff it. The rent, you got a couple grand plus electricity, just setting it up. I'm like, you're going to have tens of thousands of dollars wrapped up in the showroom that nobody's going to care about.
It depends. Different industries are different.
Yeah, it's a weird, I'm like, yeah, it's one of those industries where I can see that model just not working out, in my opinion.
Right.
Smaller business, and this is a risky move on his part. But if it works, great. All the power to him.
Right. It's in our DNA to challenge the model. We've morphed several times since 2006. We don't look the same we did 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10
Can you
years
give
ago.
me some examples of what has changed or what you do different than maybe the typical office supply place would do?
Sure. Well, first of all, we don't really consider ourselves an office supply.
Okay,
place
fair.
We're really into consumables. So the core of our business is office supplies. About 10% of our business is office furniture.
Is it really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Desk chair, file cabinet.
Okay.
I was just with a customer today, and the office products or the office furniture industry is quite large.
Okay.
And we paint within 4 corners of that. So what we do within that, there's no one that can touch us.
Oh, wow.
But we're not covering the whole base.
Gotcha. So outside of that,
it's a different industry.
Okay.
It's a different lead cycle. It's a different skill set.
Sure.
So what we do fits our profile very well.
Gotcha.
We also do janitorial products, which is the growth area of our business. So toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies. There'll be a day when we'll sell more toilet paper than we will copy paper.
I believe that.
Copy paper shrinking.
Sure.
Toilet paper's not.
Right? The volume of people is going up, but the volume being printed is going down. Sure.
Exactly. And we also do other peripheral stuff. Like we have a stamp business. So we do stamps and seals, engineering seals.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we do that across the country.
Okay.
So our core business is southern Wisconsin. So we cover from Beaver Dam to Janesville, Madison to Milwaukee on our own trucks every day.
Sure.
But we probably do business in about 30-some states for people who are based here who may have a branch office.
Okay.
And we're really good. But if you have an office in Louisville,
sure,
we're not much better than anyone else.
Sure.
If you have an office in southern Wisconsin, there's no one who touches the level of service that we provide.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, we do safety products and just all kinds of different consumables that people need in their business.
Sure. Safety stuff like rubber gloves, fire extinguishers, stuff like that?
Zoll defibrillators.
Okay. You're getting, fancier stuff. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. So
Sure.
when we started in 2006, we were basically office supplies and furniture. So our JanSam business has grown significantly. Our stamp business has grown significantly.
Sure.
And products that people need, that just the peripheral stuff. We tend to handle the little things that cost businesses a lot of money to find, not a lot of money to buy.
Sure.
So
do you find it challenging at all that you offer all of these things? Like people thinking like, what do you do again? Or do they understand?
they understand. It's in our core.
Okay.
The buyers are the same.
Sure.
So the people who are buying our product is very similar.
Is it to the point where your existing clients are going to you for something like this? When somebody says, oh, we're supposed to have a defibrillator in our new conference room, I don't know where to get that.
Sure.
Do they go to you first?
Yeah, I mean, because our credo is we help people buy, people will come to us and ask anything. And
Sure.
we always tell people, if we're not the right person for that, we'll tell you who is.
Sure. Okay.
So we're sort of the resource center.
Perfect.
And that's part of what we do.
Nice. How many employees do you guys have?
Just a dozen. So
I wouldn't say just a dozen is plenty.
We're still a small company.
Sure.
But we get a lot done with what we have. We're
Right.
super efficient. We measure our metrics based upon the industry, and we're on the top 10% as far as efficiency and how much product we move per employee.
Sure. Talking about revenue per employee? Okay.
For sure.
That's interesting. When I'm reading Inc. magazine or Fast Company or something like that, anytime they mention a business of some kind with the revenue and the number of employees, I try to figure out where they're at from a dollar point of view, regardless of industry.
Right.
And it's interesting. You can average out most numbers fit in well until you come across something like Apple. It's like $50 billion per employee or something stupid like that. Like, okay, something's awry here.
Right. We're not in that arena.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
So not only has the commodities that we sell changed, the industry itself has changed. So the people that we're competing against, or I should say the people who compete against us, are different. The industry has consolidated. So when my father started his company, there was 15,000 independently owned office products companies in the U.S.
Sure.
There's probably less than 1,000 today.
Wow. That's just in a few decades,
1,000, 40 years.
Sure.
So,
well, that's healthy, but still, that's because offices didn't go away.
No, but the industry has consolidated in a big way. And I always tell people that we're swimming upstream because all of my competitors are large multi-billion-dollar companies.
Sure.
But all I say is it just makes us stronger swimmers.
Right. There you go. There's no easy office arena or there may be a Staples arena or something like that, right?
Well, that's just overhead that customers are paying for.
That's exactly it, right?
So,
yep. Hope you like your seats.
Exactly. Well, actually, we have a new neighbor in the business park we're in, and I met him a couple of times, and he was over, and about the third meeting I had, he was just in our warehouse. I gave him a tour.
Sure.
And he it was a longer conversation, and he said, the first time I met you, when you left, I think I told my wife, how in the world can they compete in the office products business with Staples? And I told him, my mindset every day is, how in the world could Staples possibly compete with us?
That's right. You're not stuck in here with me, right? That's perfect. I like that.
You know, I mean, we charge hard, but we're sincere about helping customers. And we're not only helping customers, but we're rooted in the community. You know, we're very active in everything that goes on in Dane County. We're very active in charity. So we're sincere about helping not only our customers succeed and our employees succeed, but the community in general.
That's generally speaking the difference between most big businesses and most small businesses.
There's some good big businesses.
I mean, you could argue both ways. There's some, we'll call them outliers, I guess, but generally speaking, most of them have a focus on either shareholder value or something of that nature, where it's not maybe in their best interest, if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, to pay attention to a little league in Sun Prairie or something like that.
No doubt about that.
So it's just their plate is so big, I guess, or the number of plates that they have with people.
Correct.
It's just not a thing, right? Where smaller businesses like yours and mine, that's a bigger deal.
Yep.
So it's important to keep track of the value of small business within a community.
Right. So our industry has changed also. Large multi-billion-dollar companies but the infrastructure behind it also, probably 30 some years ago, we were instrumental in helping start a cooperative buying group. So I can compete on a price basis with the big guys because the people who are left in the industry who are independent, we pool our purchases.
Gotcha.
So we have a cooperative group.
Okay.
So we have $2.5 billion worth of purchasing power.
That's healthy. All right.
So, and that's how we're able to compete from a price standpoint. But also just the big guys, the Staples and the Office Depot, those guys are challenged for their work. As you mentioned earlier, Office Depot and Staples merged last year. The year before that, Office Max and
Office Depot.
Boise, Cascade merged with Office Max, and then Office Max merged with Office Depot. Those guys are tied down to their stores. They would love to jettison them if they could.
Huge overhead.
Huge overhead. And the office products channel is shrinking. People are using less paper-related products. So if you look, last year, I think Office Depot was down 10%, and Staples was down like 8%.
Ouch. All right.
So we're way more nimble.
Sure.
So
now they have to find their market, right? What are we going to sell to?
Yeah, they're trying to. Staples is trying to become Amazon.
Okay.
And Amazon didn't exist. Amazon, in some small ways, is a competitor of ours, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, anything retail, even service-related. Now they're getting into
banks.
Putting siding on, right? Like,
I think anyone who has a business in the U.S. is a competitor to Amazon.
In some way, shape, or form, definitely.
No doubt about that. And I say bring it on. I can compete with those guys.
Certainly.
They have some Achilles heels that we don't.
Right.
So, and we've taken the time to learn what they are.
Right. So. Just try customer service one time and you're cool.
Above and beyond that, customer service is hard to quantify.
Sure.
And as we're on this radio station, I always was taught many, many years ago, WIIFM is what most people listen to.
Okay.
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Sure. I knew I heard that before.
Right. And it's not a negative connotation when you understand, because
not at all.
A business should do what's best for them. So it's my job and it's our job at EasyOP to present a product that is in their best interest.
Sure.
And I think if you keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening, any good business should be able to do that. There are some exceptions where you just get rolled over. But if I was selling anything in the U.S., I got my eye on Amazon. And the one thing that bugs me about Amazon, because we'll compete against anyone, is our tax dollars are building their warehouses.
That's fair.
I don't like that at all.
Totally fair. Yep.
So they're building, I think we gave them $110 million in Wisconsin. I've never seen warehouse where they're paying
they're a little shy of cash.
Right. So. Right. And they're paying people $11.50 an hour. So other than that,
Jeff Bezos needs another yacht or something. I don't know.
Exactly. So we're really big into sustainability at EasyOP.
Sure.
And sustainability is way more than just being green. It's also about being equitable.
Okay.
It's about building a community that is sustaining.
Sure.
So it starts with our green effort. We run our business on 100% wind power.
Do you really? Okay.
Sure do. MG&E has a program. So
sure.
We're 100%. You can pick your percentage, and we've been at 100%.
100, easy enough.
So
sure.
We're really proud of that. But we also were part of the Sustained Dane Empower program.
Okay.
We're a 2012 graduate. So
nice.
One of our programs was to reduce our solid waste. We reduced our solid waste that goes into the trash by over 75% in 1 year.
75%. Holy cow.
And we've continued to do that. So we probably, since 2010, we've probably reduced our solid waste by over 80%.
How do you do that?
Interesting enough, when you really get into recycling, you can recycle almost everything.
Okay.
Everyone's byproduct is someone's raw material.
Okay.
You just have to connect the dots.
Okay.
And because we're active in the community, because we're out there, and we're connecting the dots. And I'll give you a good story. One of our customers in Wanakee makes plastic picture frames.
Okay.
And through Sustained Dane and the Empower program, I found out that white styrofoam, they figured out how to use as one of their raw materials.
Oh, okay.
So we no longer throw out white styrofoam, because when they place an order, we take our white styrofoam.
Sure.
So we'll go above and beyond that, because what we feel is our role in the community is we're sort of a connector.
Okay.
And our trucks are delivering office products to people.
Sure.
We're also helping them recycle. So we'll pick up things that people need to recycle.
Sure.
So that's how we kind of say, how do we fit in the community, and how do we be an
right.
overall benefit?
So in this case specifically, you're talking about the white styrofoam that's wrapping up a computer or
Yep.
stereo or something. Just
Yep.
that stuff that just extra. What am I supposed to do with this? It'll fill up my trash bin.
You got it. Doesn't need to. So
Really?
If you follow our theory,
Sure.
we're out supplying the products you need. My truck is coming back empty.
Sure.
You're a small business from between 10 and 50 employees. You
Sure.
probably don't have a resource, solutions person like you do at a
Right.
American
Right.
Family,
Yeah.
who does a great job, by the way, at that. So our job is to connect the dots. So we'll take your white styrofoam, among other things, and when we have an order, we'll deliver the white styrofoam.
Huh.
So there's zero carbon footprint for us to
Okay.
do that. So we power our business on 100% wind power. We help our customers recycle not only the easy stuff, cardboard and paper. We take old office furniture. We do batteries. We do light bulbs.
Wow.
We collect shoes for souls.
Okay.
So we're kind of connected to our customers in that way.
So does that mean you need extra warehouse space to take care of that?
We have to be really efficient.
Okay. Okay.
So no, we haven't brought up. There's no revenue involved in that.
Sure.
So so it has to be revenue neutral for us.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
That's our goal. We were collecting pens and pencils, but we're having a hard time getting the resource to someone to take them.
Oh.
There was a company upcycling pens and pencils. Actually, it was TerraCycle. A lot of people use TerraCycle.
Sure.
But they stopped doing pens and pencils. So we're like 10,000 pens and pencils.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a big number.
But I've learned if you just set them on a table at a trade show, within 5 minutes they'll be gone.
These are not good. These are end of life pens. And
Sure, sure. I swear to God, you could put a balled up piece of paper there.
So would you
People
like to
take
buy
it.
some pens and pencils? James?
No. No, this is just trade show
Right, I hear you.
DIY.
I hear you.
Yeah, fun stuff. So let's go back to employees now. You got a dozen employees.
Yep.
And a few of you guys have been with you essentially since you started, or a couple of the guys.
Interesting, because I've listened to some of your other shows, and in prep for this, I know you wanted to ask me about employees, and we have the greatest employees ever.
Nice.
So, first of all, I think we don't struggle to find people.
You are the first one.
Yeah.
Like probably ever.
So have we struggled now and again? Yes. But
Sure.
in general, people want to work at Easy Office Products.
Really?
And the reason is because we've set the tone and the culture.
Okay.
And we may hire someone and they may not work out. They may not fit within the culture.
Sure.
But in general, we, hire for attitude and,
All right.
and train for skills.
Sure.
Uh,
Smart.
and we've been very successful. So we're a very flat organization. So everyone has a say.
Okay.
As Rose always says, everyone has their say, but you can't always have your way.
Sure. Universal, right?
So we, and Rose and I are there every day in the trenches working. So it's not, there's not a hierarchy.
Sure.
If I need to deliver order, you may see me deliver
Right.
an
Here's
order
the
for you.
keys.
You got it.
Get to work.
So not that it's not a challenge in this environment, because there's low unemployment.
Sure.
But we try to create an environment that is participatory, so that people can feel at home,
Sure.
and that they have a say in what their future is.
Okay.
And we've been successful doing that. And
Nice.
there's some awesome people that do a great job.
So do people typically stay with you for a given 5 years
Yeah,
or
we
more?
don't have hardly any turnover.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's, again, one of those things, like you're one of the few, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some, like,
Sure.
one of our key people left a couple of years ago. His family had a business on the East Coast, and they were just getting ready to retire, so the kids are going to take over. We wished him well.
Sure.
Talked to him regularly. You wouldn't.
Yeah, life
you wouldn't-
happens.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
wouldn't want to keep them from that.
They weren't necessarily put on this earth just to work at Easy Office Products as
I
much
was,
as you
but not the rest of the people.
right.
So,
As much as you'd love to believe that, right? And life
no,
goes,
again,
gotta go on.
I can't say enough that we try to create the environment. I'm there every morning, and we try to set the tone.
Sure.
We're a service company, so how we provide service, if we treat our employees and members well, they're obviously going to treat our customers well.
Definitely.
And that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, we're not the type of company that's looking for you to take your work home.
Sure.
We believe that when you leave, you should leave.
Shut it off and walk away.
Shut
Yep.
it off. Rose and I are in a different
No, that's
situation.
a different game, right?
Right. But we should. I'm very methodical about. I like to avoid problems.
Okay.
So we like to plan.
That's good, right?
Yep. So I think as a company, we have an awesome level of service for people, but we're handling their emergencies, not our own.
Gotcha.
So try to anticipate and be prepared. And we
Sure.
have good equipment, we have good facilities, and in general.
So what are most of your employees drivers then?
No, we have customer service staff,
Okay.
accounting person,
Okay.
sales related, and we're morphing as a company too. So we're
Okay.
changing kind of the way we go to market a little bit.
Sure. In regards to sales, like it's
Yeah, I mean, the old-fashioned salesperson was in a customer. When I started, I used to visit my customers weekly.
wow.
We were big into healthcare, so I had a lot of health systems, and I can remember now one of my first major customers was Helene Fold Medical Center in Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay.
And Monday morning, I would be there when purchasing was open.
Sure.
So,
All right.
and I'd sit there with another rep, Joe Lopes, and we'd chat, and he gave me some great advice as a young person.
Nice.
But that, I couldn't imagine doing that today.
Sure.
Picking an order up because someone's going online and placing an order.
Right.
But we'd go and pick 50 orders up from that hospital. I'd drive to another hospital. He'd have
Like you're talking about a paper order.
paper order.
Oh, wow.
Paper
Okay.
order,
Don't
yeah.
lose that.
In preparation, the University of Pennsylvania Hospital was one of our customers, and also the University of Pennsylvania. And this will make me sound really old. And
Okay.
we bought them their first fax machine.
Oh, wow. The first fax machine.
First, I can remember them coming to us and saying, "We have this new technology,
Sure.
and we'd like you to buy."
It's going to revolutionize the world.
Exactly. And we bought two, one for us and one for them, which allowed us to be more efficient because we didn't have to go pick our orders up.
Oh, nice.
They faxed them to us. Which
Sure.
people listening to this program are saying, "What's a fax machine?"
So you listen to the most annoying sound in the world, and it's just dollar bills coming through the line, right?
No doubt about it.
That's so funny.
So I mean, I can remember doing that. So I've been around a long time, and we've always pushed that.
Sure.
What is the latest technology that we can use? I mean, today you can order on our website, but you can order on our phone from us.
Oh, and you have an app set up, or is it just
not an app,
the
it's
website itself is responsive?
It's
so.
a responsive website.
Nice.
So, so the people who order from us can have whatever they need in their pocket.
Sure.
And you order it at 5 o'clock today, and it shows up tomorrow at 10 in the morning.
So now, you raise an interesting point here.
Yep.
Because I have an e-commerce store, but there's nowhere. It's a dozen things, right?
Yep.
You're in an industry where you need
30,000 or
yeah,
more.
stupid numbers.
Yep.
So how do you keep track of that or keep up on all of that stuff?
It's
Just
a
even
challenge.
Pricing, organization, having it in stock.
Yep.
Like is that all in-house, or do you get help outside with that?
Well, if you were a customer and let's say you were an accounting office, about 50% of what you buy is coming out of our Madison warehouse.
Okay.
And the other, 10% is special stuff that comes.
Sure.
And then the other 40, a lot of it comes out of our buying group
Okay.
warehouse. So we get a truck every day from Chicago overnight.
Gotcha.
So we're
Okay.
working 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
All right.
So at 4 in the morning, we get our order from Chicago.
Okay.
And someone starts in our warehouse at 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then our goal is to hit our first customer every day at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So officially, we take orders up to 5 o'clock, but unofficially, if we're there, we're
Sure.
we're taking in orders till
Yep.
6 or 7 o'clock.
Sure.
I actually was talking with another independent company in Boston who does a couple of deliveries for us, and they leave at 5 o'clock. And I'm thinking, who can possibly leave
at
o'clock?
5?
They leave at 5 o'clock.
Wow.
in the
Okay.
afternoon.
Yeah, when you're in an industry like that where it's got to be,
Yep.
it's no, I need this in 2 weeks, right? Whenever you get around to it.
Well, the Red Cross used to be our customer in Philadelphia, and they always tell us that we delivered quicker than they deliver blood.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Never forget that.
Nice. So Rose, you're married to Rose, right?
I am.
All right. So she's essentially the boss.
Yep.
So tell me, when you go home at night, is it easy to shut it off, or is there just no shutting it off?
It's a great question. Rose struggles more with that than I do.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I saw my parents talk business all the time, and internally I said to myself, I don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
as a young kid, I might work till 10 o'clock at night, but when I went home, I tried to shut it off.
Home
now,
is home.
You know, as a business owner, you never really shut it off.
No.
But you can say
It's
to
a
yourself,
volume knob, not a light switch.
There you go. I'll buy that. Rose struggles more than I do.
Gotcha.
On that one. So we're working.
We're
on
working on it. That's fair. Let's just leave it at that. That's awesome.
Yep.
So, what has been your favorite thing about owning your own business, or owning it with Rose?
Yep. Well, that's a. I'll
Or
answer
both.
that in two
Both.
ways.
By all
Yes.
means. By all means.
So my first go around with my father, what a lifetime experience that was.
Yeah,
So I not only got to know my father as dad, but I got to know my father as a peer in business, and he was a great mentor. Uneducated great mentor.
Sure.
But he knew the buttons to push with me and to get the most out of me in the most best way possible. But I developed a professional relationship with my father, which I still look. He's gone now, but it's so special to me to have that opportunity to do that. And the things that we did together, like I said, we put our first bookcase together on a Saturday. I can remember doing that. And he was a good mentor that he always gave me enough rope, but not enough rope to hang myself.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I can remember as a kid, probably 18, maybe 19 years old, I signed a contract for our first computer system.
Oh.
And it was like
no pressure.
It was like 25 grand or something.
Sure.
And my father said, I can remember sitting in his office. He said, "Yeah, is this the right thing to do?" And I said, "Yep, go for it." So he gave me that freedom,
the leeway,
to do, but not enough to kill the business, because I probably would.
He didn't give you a bag of $25,000 to just go do whatever with, right?
He had no money. That was the thing. When we started, a hand truck was a big investment.
Sure.
So that's special to me because I had to earn everything. I had to help him build a business. So I really look back on that with fond memories.
Nice.
And I look back on it and some of the decisions I made in my early 20s. I was like, man, I'm not sure I'd make that decision today. It was pretty bold.
Well, hopefully you learned, or you understood, or you just hindsight, right?
So before this program started, we were talking, and my second iteration, one of the reasons I wanted to come to Wisconsin and help Rose start Easy Office Products was, even though I was there at day one with my father, I didn't have skin in the game. I really wanted that challenge to do it myself from scratch.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I mean, we basically mortgaged everything that we had to start Easy Office Products. And that's been rewarding to see, to grow from nothing. I didn't know anyone in Wisconsin to now. I think we're pretty established, and we feel pretty proud about what we've done within the community.
Absolutely.
And as I said before, Rose has taught me things that I never know, and she'll probably teach me more things.
Sure, there's more to learn, right?
Right. Well, just the way we go to business, we're so different than anyone else. We're independently unique in how we go to market.
Which one would you say takes more bold moves now? Between you and Rose, in business, is she more of a let's just do it, or?
Rose is very analytical and very much, she came from big business, so I mean we count every penny. Okay. And I'm a little bit more, I don't want to say shoot from the hip, because I'm not a shoot from the hip guy, but a little bit less. We're equally open to risk, I think.
Okay, that's fair. Totally fair.
I mean, we're not gambling on anything, but and as I listen to other people who are in business, I mean, I'm not looking to start another business, or I'm not looking to. I'm never going to get rich in the office products business, but that's fine with me because there's different definitions of rich. I think if you have a balanced life and can be a contributor to the community, and you can also make a living and have a roof over your head, to me that's success.
Definitely.
And it's challenging sometimes to get to that point. But that's ultimately the goal. I
would say it all comes down to fulfillment, right? In the end, if you're happy with what you have or where you're going, then I would say you're better off than somebody that has billions of dollars that is not.
And never happy.
Right? Because there's certainly billionaires that kill themselves. So
correct.
Were they successful?
Depends on what you're
Apparently they were a good shot.
When I was in high school, I worked at a fish store, Parsons Famous Seafood. And I
just read that book.
Did you?
I did.
Okay, cool. And I can always remember that as a young kid, I was probably, when I was maybe 14 years old, and I told the guy, I really want to be successful, and he stopped me. He said, there's different definitions of success.
Absolutely.
And that stuck with me. So that stuck with me.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in the whole Tony Robbins, success without fulfillment is failure.
Exactly.
So that's a big deal. Exactly. That's a huge, big deal. So do you, I was going to ask how you relax, but I don't know. Do you relax?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm a hiker.
Are you really? Okay. Well, you're in the perfect state for that.
I love to hike. I am. I mean, the Wisconsin state parks are just
It's phenomenal.
phenomenal. The legacy of environmental stewardship we have in Wisconsin is, I didn't even know. I mean, the Sand County Almanac, and John Muir lived here, and just so much. I'm a little bit disappointed with what's happening right now,
right,
from an environmental standpoint, but I hope that's a temporary thing.
Right.
But yeah,
it's a blip.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. But no, I found hiking early on, but I've accelerated it being in Wisconsin. There's a whole different pace of life in Wisconsin than there was on the East Coast.
Oh, I bet.
It's hard to explain to people, but when I announced that I was coming to Wisconsin, I have a friend of mine in Chicago, and he said, "You just added 10 years to your life."
Ha!
And that's what I said. I said, "What do you mean?"
He meant that as a compliment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right, because there's a whole different pace.
Sure.
So, and it's hard. People complain about the traffic on the Beltline, but there's no such thing as traffic. You no matter the worst traffic jam on the Beltline is an everyday thing.
Right.
In New Jersey.
That's 4 a.m. in Chicago. Right?
Exactly right. So,
Sure.
So my opportunities to get out in nature have expanded since I've been in Wisconsin.
Sure.
So, and one of the things, I'm a great fan of the Grand Canyon. I love.
Oh, nice. Sure.
I love to hike the Grand Canyon. So I've been there 7 or 8 times probably hiking.
Okay.
And on my 30th birthday, I hiked to the bottom. And my goal was every 10 years to hike the Grand Canyon. So
really?
I did it on my 40th birthday.
Okay.
On my 50th, I crossed the Grand Canyon from north to south.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
On foot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
On foot. Took me 4 days.
Okay. That's a journey.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So, and I've hiked it a bunch since then, too. And then I've developed friendships with people here that I've met since I've been to Wisconsin, mostly business owners that I've met either through the chamber,
Sure,
or Dame by Local. And a couple of years ago, I hiked the Grand Canyon on my 50th birthday. And then a year later, 2 friends of mine that I knew from business said, "Where are you going this year?" I said, "I'm going to Yosemite."
Sure.
And they said, "Oh, that sounds like fun." I said, "Well, join me." And a couple of weeks later, I saw them, and they said, "Were you serious?" And I said, "Absolutely." And we went, and we had a great time.
Oh, nice.
And we had such a good time, we said, we'll have to do this, make it an annual event.
Sure.
So in 2016, the group got bigger.
Okay.
A couple of more business people.
Very cool.
And we hiked in Alaska.
Oh, wow.
So we hiked the Chilkoot Trail, which is the trail the gold miners used in the Klondike Gold Rush.
Huh.
So you hike from Skagway, Alaska, over the mountaintop to Bennett, Canada.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That sounds
That was
cool.
really cool. And then last year we hiked the Alps.
Did you really? Oh, wow.
In Slovenia.
Sure.
And I hiked the Grand Canyon again last year, too.
Nice. All right.
So this year's an off year.
So you have some good walking shoes then.
So you asked me how I relax.
Sure.
That to me is relaxing.
Nice.
And in addition to that, Rose and I, when we moved out here, we lived in Marshall, which is awesome community, best neighbors I ever had, but kind of inconvenient. Our office is in Madison on the east side.
Sure, it's a little bit of a trek.
Yep.
Sure.
So we sold that house. We've been living in Madison for the last 2 years, and we just bought a new house in Madison, so it's walkable to work.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I like to either walk or ride my bike to work.
Sure.
And that to me talk about shutting it off.
Yeah.
If you leave or you walk home, it takes you an hour to walk home. You're in a whole different atmosphere then.
I can remember walking to and from school that way, and you get it takes you a little bit of time to get in the zone for your next activity. And walking, like when you walk home, you almost forget about what you had to deal with during the day. It's like stage 2.
Right.
We're ready to go about our business then.
Right.
So it's interesting. We're in the car sometimes. People just get so ham-fisted, kind of. They either come to work or they come home just irate because they had to deal with.
The more I walk, the more I feel sorry for people in cars.
Sure.
Because I cross over the interstate. It's like, poor people in their cars.
Sure.
And here I am walking.
I feel that way when I ride my motorcycle.
Yep.
But different story, different reason. Yeah. So what's the next steps for Easy Office?
We're really challenging. We're at the next stage of our evolution. We're kind of changing the way we go to market. And we've been testing new things.
Sure.
And that's just a matter of staying on top of things.
Okay.
we're actually searching for a couple of people right now. So
employees. Okay.
There'll be sales service reps.
Nice.
Because ultimately, we define our sales process with the acronym ARM.
Okay.
Acquire, retain, and maximize.
Okay.
So acquiring ultimately will be my job mostly, and retaining and maximizing. In other words, retaining, make sure we keep people happy.
Sure.
And maximizing is just educating people all the things we do.
Sure.
Because it's not common knowledge that we have defibrillators.
Absolutely. Sure.
So it's a pleasant way to go to market. And that's one of the enjoyable things because we're not pushing things on people. I'm not really a salesperson. If I had to sell for a living, I'd probably be living on a grate.
Be a little hungry.
Right. So one of the things that I always said to myself was, if I have the best product to offer, I don't really need to sell it.
Sure.
And that's really what we've tried to do at Easy Office Products is have the best product to offer.
Gotcha.
And then the retaining and maximizing is just making sure, are we doing everything we can? Do you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, have any ideas that we could serve you better? And all of our best ideas come from customers.
Sure.
If you have an ear to the
Can
ground.
you please offer whatever? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, we have to challenge ourselves and challenge them to think outside the box.
So pivoting off that, what have you done marketing-wise that's been successful?
We're really big into social media.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what's happening with Facebook now. I'm not sure where that's going to go.
There's some challenges.
Yep.
It's interesting that you mentioned the Facebook thing because I read something in a website marketing magazine probably in the neighborhood of 8 years ago. And I still have the magazine, and it mentioned how social media, it was talking about the cycle of social media, and then they used Facebook as an example. And this was 8 years ago when Facebook was starting to get big, and they expected it to fizzle by 2017.
Ah, okay.
So, and I thought with the presidential election, the way that happened, I saw so many friends said I'm done with social media, whatever, they're out. And I thought, oh, maybe this is the end, but it wasn't quite the end. And then something like this happens, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is the end, right? But in the end, people need a way to communicate.
Correct.
Right? So whether it's Facebook or it's just like Napster, right? Napster goes away, another music sharing thing will come in there, right? People need a means to communicate. Something will show up. Right? Maybe fax machines will come back. I don't know. Right?
Not likely.
Whatever it is, it's going to be something until that new thing.
Correct.
That'll
but
have
at
a
the end
cycle
of
as
the
well.
day, it's still word of mouth. If a customer gives you a good
Sure.
reference,
Sure.
whether it be over social media or in person or some technology that I haven't thought about yet, VR or
Sure. Right.
It's still the same. It's
Sure.
People serving people is really what business is about, in my opinion.
So in regards to, let's just go back to social media then, are people finding you new there, or this is more of a pool that's already existed?
We're sort of unique because 100% of our business is done on our website.
Yep.
But we know every one of our customers.
Oh.
So it's not like people are finding us and just ordering from us. They know us, we have a relationship.
Sure.
Because everyone is not our potential customer. You know every business from a one person to the state uses office products. Probably from 2 people to 2,000 people is really what the core of our business is.
Okay.
So we have a relationship with our customers.
Sure.
We have no shipping charge. We have next day delivery, so I don't want to be delivering to Sheboygan.
Sure, right.
Next day, I just can't do it. So
your pack of pens.
Right, we're methodical about how we go to market.
Gotcha. Okay. So what has been your biggest success so far throughout all of your businesses and through your entrepreneurial career?
Other than sitting here with you, James.
Oh, right. This is it. We've reached the pinnacle.
Exactly. It's all downhill from here.
That's right. I've been on Authentic Business Adventures.
Exactly.
The Oscar of entrepreneurs.
There you go. You love me. Or what did Sally Field say?
You love me.
Yeah,
You really love me.
Oh, boy. I have such a long history. And
Sure.
I think what we have contributed to the community, I didn't know anyone in Wisconsin, and I think that without Easy Office Products, I think it probably sound too bold, but I think, Madison wouldn't be as good a place.
You are in a very safe place to say something bold here. So, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. I teach business planning class, right?
Okay.
And in going through the business planning class, let's say the first portion, you're essentially writing down your dream, what you're going to do, the problem that exists, the solution that you're going to provide. And I say, if you didn't start your business, and this goes half motivational, half you rah, the other half being, if you didn't exist, what would happen, right? Would the world stop turning, or would somebody else fill the pool with whatever? Like, there has to be a reason for you to exist. Are you improving the world in some way, shape, or form? Which means that if you don't start your business, you are not improving the world, and the world is suffering because of that.
Correct.
So if that's the case, and I go through this, right? Are you willing to let the world suffer because you're too lazy to finish your business plan, right? But realistically, it comes down to that with most arguably ethical businesses, right? You have to leave the world a better place. Just like when you go hiking or camping, right? Leave better than you found it kind of thing.
Right.
So, I mean, you have to. Otherwise, what good are you? Right, is what it comes down to.
You're just a resource sucker.
Yeah,
that's
just
it.
selling a commodity and
Right.
Yeah, anyone can do that kind of thing. So I just want to ask you a couple more things. You having Rose as a boss just as intriguing to me, because I don't know that I could have my boss be my wife. She'd probably fire me the first chance she got.
Rose has fired me a couple of times.
Oh, nice.
She always hires me back, though.
Nice. The resume just shines. So.
That's right.
So is there something special that you guys have in your relationship that you think that doesn't necessarily exist with every other relationship, or there has to have been some challenges?
Oh, there's no doubt.
With a working relationship like that.
Yeah, and even though Rose is the final arbiter, she gets the final say. You know, obviously I'm very active. It's not I'm not waiting for someone to tell me what to do. I think that, you know, it's an ongoing evolvement of how but we have different skill sets.
Sure.
And we have different responsibilities inside the business also. So we're trying not to overlap and step on each other's toes.
Fair.
Well, at least that's the ideal. You know, sometimes it happens. And I have learned just to go with what she says, because she's usually right. Smart.
Very smart. So we got a little bit of time here, and I just want to ask you one more question, if you don't mind.
Ask away.
So we have people listening to this program that are on the fence about starting a business. And they don't know necessarily what they don't know. So what is one piece of advice that you would give someone that was considering starting a business?
You got to be all in. If you're not dedicated to whatever business it is, you're not going to be successful.
All right.
I'll tell you, the entrepreneurial community, you can't explain to someone who hasn't run a business. And when you meet someone who runs a business, there's a certain kinship you have.
Absolutely.
Because you know what it means to struggle to meet payroll or to not know whether you're going to be successful or not.
Definitely.
So you really have to be bold and do that. But it's super rewarding, for me at least, to know that we've been able to start something from nothing, and we have an entity.
Yeah.
And also, you know, we're doing good within the community. But there's just so many. I always say to myself, I have such a varied role. Like, I have a change of clothes in my office.
Sure.
And I go to work in my work clothes. And then I'll get changed in a tie and go out and visit customers. And I'll get back in my work clothes.
Gotcha.
And, you know, my day may be visiting with a CEO of a company, and in the morning I'm underneath a truck trying to figure out why the light bulb in the back doesn't work.
Gotcha. The joys.
That's joys and challenges.
Yeah, the joys of business ownership. That's awesome. Well, Gary, thank you very much. This is a blast. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land, coming to you from the Sun Prairie Community Studios, underwritten by Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kateman, business coach at Drought & Customers Business Coaching and author of the Bold Business Book. We'd like to thank you, our lovely listeners, and our guest, Gary Molz, co-owner of Easy Office Products. Find us airing on 103.5 Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m., as well as at sunprairiemediacenter.com. We can also be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link on drawitandcustomers.com. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Stay awesome and enjoy the process.